Hello and welcome to the first episode of She's the Talk of the Town podcast. Myself, Laura and Kiera are three mammies, three normal women that just want to talk about issues that we talk about every day, but not necessarily publicly. The first thing we want to address is what we consider to be the elephant in the room. Obviously I have had weight loss surgery. Kiera has lost a lot of weight. But feedback to Kiera is people talking about her and how she lost her weight. So what she's hearing back is that obviously she had a sleeve or a bypass, which is not the case, Kiera. So we're going to address that today. We're going to talk about body issues and how as women we're faced with different things every day with regards to how we look. So we'll just go over to Kiera and Kiera can explain exactly how she lost her weight. So it's addressed.
I don't know, do I look at them, do I look at you? When lockdown started, but just before lockdown, I got to the point where I was on stage and I was never comfortable and I was changing 7 times before I left the house. And I'd be saying to Darren, like, does this look alright? He'd be like, yeah, that's lovely. And then I'd come down the stairs in something completely different. He's like, what? 99% of women do the same thing. I was just never comfortable in my own skin, and how much skin I had. I just wasn't comfortable. So January 2020, I joined back Slimming World with my friend for like the 3rd or 4th time. And then we went into lockdown in March. So I remember getting my first shop when nobody knew what was going on. I got my first shop actually delivered to the house because I was afraid of shops at that stage because, you know, it was kind of like, what is this? And I got all my fruit, I got everything in, and that night I was making a dinner, like a Slimming World dinner, because I was trying to stick to it, even though Slimming World was kind of like, girls, I think we need to close because it was like meetings can't happen or whatever. And Darren and my son got a takeaway, and I was like, because we kind of have to miss Slimming World for a week or two because of all of this, and then everything will be back to normal, so I'll get back on it. And I was like, but at that time, this was like my 4th or 5th time starting as it was, so I was like, no, I'm going to be good and I'm going to stick with it. And then for a few weeks, and then it was like, I realised, oh God, I'm never going to get down with pyjamas again. Yeah. So I kind of started slipping back, and then I was kind of in and out of it, like everybody does with these kind of like diets and whatever. And then I was like, no, I need to get out walking. Darren struggles with his back, and as I struggled with my weight, I was like, no, this is a perfect opportunity. And like, it was kind of in your 5k, you know, it was all that. I was like, it was just to kind of get me head.
And obviously your gigs and all had stopped.
Everything had stopped, and like literally, I never in my life suffered with anxiety. I'm lucky, gladly I never did before that, but my God, like, literally every time I went to my phone, I had another email, weddings being cancelled, gigs being cancelled, nothing was happening. It was just like, what is going on? And I've been gigging for so long, and to then have nothing at all, I needed to focus on something. And I think it's very easy to slip back into old habits and just kind of eat your way through it or binge your way through it or whatever, and I would always do that. But I got to the point where I was like, no, I'm going to try and focus on something positive. I started like reading into like The Secret and manifesting, and I was like, the only one that's going to change me is me. And I always looked for other ways. And I was like, no, I need to focus on myself. So I walked, and I stuck with like everything I make. Like if I'm like, I want a curry, I'll make a Slimming World curry.
And you start putting up like videos of meals and stuff you were doing on Instagram.
On Instagram I was just kind of like, nobody would ever, like, I would just make normal day-to-day dinners, but I would do it like Slimming World friendly. But I love baking as well, which obviously a lot of that, 99% of that is not.
But people just got massively interested.
Like I couldn't believe it. Like people were kind of like, I was kind of just putting it up just for something. I think everybody was just losing their mind in lockdown. And I just started kind of putting them up, and it was like my sister-in-law was actually mailing me, and she was like, keep doing that, that's brilliant, I'm following you. And then loads of like strangers would start saying it to me, and I was like, okay. And then I got to the point where I was like, I'm annoying myself, because I was like, are people kind of like she's a singer, what's she doing? Like, you're not like, I'm not Gordon Ramsay. I was making basic dinners, but the amount of people that were reaching out to me saying like, oh God, like it was so like even a curry. it's so simple, but they were like, I'd never think if I wanted a curry, I'd just ring one, but I actually tried what you done and I loved it.
Yeah.
So it kind of took off in that way, and it was, I kind of like that, I was just stuck with Slimming World, and the more I saw the weight go down, it kind of encouraged me a little bit more to keep going, and because it's hard.
Well, I find, because I work shift work when I'm off work at the moment, but when I work shift, and then like with parties and gigs and stuff like that, it is hard to have any good eating routine.
Oh, definitely.
Anyway, so it probably was the best thing in the world for you.
Yeah, because I like that. I never had a routine. Like I have 3 kids, so you're trying to get the kids sorted, get them a dinner, and whether like if they're going to my mum's for her to mind them when I'm gigging, we'll have to feed the kids. I don't have time to feed myself because I need to get the pajamas.
So it's
together.
easier to just grab something quick. And
you either grab something quick or you don't grab anything at all, and then on the way home from a gig you're starving.
Yeah.
Do you know? And then you keep your grabber open.
Yeah.
Do you know that kind of way? So you pay their mortgage.
Yeah.
But
but I think because you weren't gigging at all for that period, nobody was seeing you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, you're more in the public eye than we would be. So
then,
because they weren't seeing you, when they did see you and you'd lost all this weight, there's an automatic assumption. And I suppose weight loss surgery is such a big thing now. Like everybody seems to be going to Turkey or Lithuania or whatever. So people just assumed you'd had it, and even though you kept saying no, I haven't had it, people are still talking about you, and you're hearing it back all the time.
Like I think people people forget there was 18 months in between. So like people will say, oh sure, I saw you at Christmas at a gig, and now you're after losing this much weight. And I'm like, that was nearly 2 years ago. But people don't. It's like that kind of, they don't realise the difference. And like I mean, like that with Instagram, everything is fake. Social media is fake. And you can take a picture and you can take it up here at a good angle and make
Which
it.
I do.
We all do. We all do it. But I mean, people we can go through your pictures and say, well, there you are only 6 months ago, and you know what I mean, or there you are a year ago and you are so much bigger. But it's like, but I took, like, I would very rarely put up a full picture, or if you do, it's only at a good angle, or like how many people don't realise, and especially young girls, it's terrible, but they don't realise that picture that goes on Instagram, there's been 40 pictures before that, before it's like they've been filtered or whatever you need to do to make it like that's the one.
And I do always say, like, put a post up ages ago about it. Like, I think as well, when you filter pictures, people judge you even on that. They're like, oh, she loves herself, she's pouting, and I'm like, no, I filter that because I don't love myself. If I loved myself, I'd be happy to just put up an unfiltered picture. But I think social media, there's a massive pressure on girls and women of all ages now.
Especially young women. Like,
everything is fake. It's all fake. But just to be clear, you wouldn't have shame in saying, I did have weight loss surgery, but you actually didn't have it.
No, so like that's the thing. And like some people, if you do go for something like that and you don't want to tell anybody, so what?
Absolutely.
And people have the misconception as well that weight loss surgery is an easy way out. But it's far from it.
Absolutely. And I think you know that, especially
from watching you and your story.
I've gone through such a hard time in the last few months.
Hard time.
I've been unlucky. I'd never change it. And I think as well there's a misconception that people that go for weight loss surgery are all just addicted to food. Now, a lot of the people I did go with and meet there were addicted to food. They had food issues. I didn't have that. I had a medical issue I was gaining so much weight quickly because of steroids. But for me, I'm delighted with my decision. I lost nearly 6 stone. I'm in a much happier place. I'm still not happy, as you know.
But when you're a size 6, you would not be happy.
Don't be happy.
Do you know what I mean?
But again, I think it's that pressure of, even me, I put myself out there on Instagram. I told people the truth. This is how I'm losing weight, and I was putting up my weight loss every week, and I felt pressured with that. Because people that, if I forgot to do it, people were messaging me saying, how did you get on this week? Like, how did you get on this week? And I was like, oh no, I have to stop doing it.
You actually went to once a month.
Now I've gone to once a month because I just didn't need the pressure. And I'm starting to stall as well, so I'm like, just give me a minute break. But it's even that, even me telling the truth of it, and this is what I've done, people still talk about you. They still have something to say. Everybody has an opinion. You know, the amount of times, even up to yesterday in the cafe, people are like, no, stop losing weight, don't lose too much, your face is gone gaunt. You know,
that's very frustrating.
People always have an opinion. We've spoken to people in the last few weeks that have been in that situation. you know.
And you would not in a million years say to someone,
heavy.
you've put on too much weight,
stop
you need to stop putting on weight. So it shouldn't be the other way around.
Because I think as well, a lot of women especially, and men I just don't think the way we do as well. But I think when they're saying it, they're not saying it to be mean or harsh, but they're not realising the impact their words have on you. Because I know 2 people in the last few weeks that was said to about their cheekbones, and they really went home and thought about it. And both of them look amazing, but they went home with that.
It gives them a brand new complex. Because
So
I think that's the thing. People don't with any situation, but like that, people don't realise how their words can have an impact. Like you don't like that. If you've gone through Slimming World or Weight Watchers or whatever diets, or you've gone for surgery, whatever the case may be, there was obviously an issue there in the first place. And you could be at a point where you're finally starting to like yourself and accept yourself, and then somebody can come in and like that could be a trigger. So people need to realise that the damage that can do, because obviously there's an issue there mentally with like you're saying, I know you're saying medically with you, but that can have a mental effect on you, because like that,
absolutely,
I've struggled with my weight all my life. So I know, and like some people might be grand all their life and then have a baby, for example, and then never be big, and then suddenly start putting on weight after a baby, or the change of life, or whatever the case may be, but the effect that can have on you. And then for somebody to comment when they think like, well, I have the right to tell you this, and it's like, when it's not like that,
And then you also have, like, I mean, obviously standing in the schoolyard, so you'll be very aware that other mummies are kind of saying, oh, she must have had her surgery, she must have had surgery.
It goes back to
that must annoy you. That would annoy me.
Some days it doesn't, but some...
I'd rather them ask. Do you know what I mean?
And that's the thing, like, you do get that where you'd kind of, I've been told that like, I'm in WhatsApp groups and people are, and I mean, I think that is a thing of this day and age. Everybody's probably been in one, but if you don't know about it, it's none of your business. So ignorance is bliss. But when it's kind of brought to your attention, it's kind of, you know, and like it could be like 90% of the time they could be saying she looks well or whatever. But I think there's always going to be that way, because girls can be bitches. Do you know what I mean?
Girls are naturally bitches.
It's very rare that you find people who will lift you up, and like that can be that. And if that comes back to you, that there's negativity there being spoken about you, that's another punch in the gut. Do you know? And you're trying to, like, regardless, like that, regardless of how you're losing your weight or how you've gone about it, your head, like that, and like we were talking about that. That's something that people don't talk about. People think, oh, I'll lose my weight, or I'll have my surgery and I'm fixed. Like
not the case.
No, and like that, like we were talking about being open about things. Like I lost 5 stone. So
and you're tiny, so 5 stone is a lot.
It was a lot for me to carry. And so to lose that then, and I had 3 sections, so I had a lot of excess skin. So in January I had skin removal, and that's like when I lost, I thought I'll lose all my weight and then I'll be fixed and I'll be happy. And then I lost the weight, and all I could see, people, like I'd be gigging or whatever, and I'd look back in a picture and all I could see was the skin, and it drove me insane. And I was like, I need to get rid of this skin, and that's gonna fix me. And then I got that done, and I remember my first gig you actually came to, I had my clothes on, I was ready, left the house, put my blazer on because it was a bit cold out, walked into the gig, and I was like, I'm not taking this off. I literally spent most of the gig like this, because I was like, I thought I'm gonna, my first gig after surgery and I'm recovered,
and that was the night we talked about it.
Exactly, because I was actually telling you how I felt that night, because it was kind of, I thought, I'm gonna walk in, I'm gonna do a gig in a bikini, and I'm gonna be massive, and I'm gonna be happy with myself, and I'll be fixed. But you're not. I was still, although I didn't have the skin at that stage, I was 5 weeks over surgery, and I was like, but look at the swelling. You focus on other things.
But it's like in the last week, I said in my story the other day, I bought 3 coats, a coat, a blazer and a jacket in the last week, all size 10. And when I look in the mirror with them, like, I'm celebrating, I bought a size 10. But when I look, like the other night, the coat that I had on when we went out was a size 10. I felt huge. Like when I look in the mirror, I still see 17 stone Tracey. That's what I see. And like, people aren't realising that. I think some people as well are like, oh, look where Liz, the way she loves herself. No, I'm still struggling in here. I don't see that. You know, I'm not seeing what you're seeing when you're looking at me.
It is far from an easy fix. It's not like even weight loss surgery is only the beginning. It's really the beginning.
And even on that, with body issues, Laura, you're obviously slim. we
But
look at
too
you and say
slim.
you're beautiful, but
Yeah,
you have your
I
own
hate
issues
it.
with your body.
I absolutely hate it, and I love to be able to put on a stone. I fight with myself every day to be able to eat, but I suffer really badly, as is now, with anxiety.
Yeah.
So that holds me back from that.
Yeah.
So where people would be thinking, oh, she loves herself, like, just look how slim she is. I don't.
Yeah.
I do not, like,
No,
and
I
that's
know that.
the way it is. Do you know what I mean? So,
like, Laura would put messages in the group celebrating that she's eating a Big Mac.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
and it's the
And we're
total
trying to avoid
opposite.
and look, I managed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the total
Yeah.
opposite. And I think that's the misconception of people looking at you,
Yeah.
whether... I just think some people just are never happy for you, no matter what way you look or what you do in life or whatever. But like, you've always struggled with trying to put on weight.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's
I
obviously
mean,
the
even in
opposite of
school,
us.
there was like people would say, "Oh, she's anorexic because I was so skinny," but that's just the
You're
way
not.
I was. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And the way I am, and like, I mean, me fighting to put on weight, you was fighting to lose weight, and still, each of us is the talk of the town.
Yeah. 100%,
really.
yeah. And it's mad because like any night, like that night when we went to your gig a few weeks ago, and you had your orange blazer and dress, like, you were stunning, and we all were like, oh my god, you look absolutely amazing, and you were like, oh, I feel real. Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I just think we're never really,
Because like that as well, I am so slight. But like that, if I do eat a Big Mac, or if I eat like me dinner, say, before I go out,
you blow.
I bloat.
Yeah.
So I do look like I've like 3 months pregnant. Do you know what I mean? So, and I know I'm skinny, but I'll still look in the mirror and say to Chris,
That's
"Oh my
what
god, I
I
look
say.
pregnant."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's where the powerlifting comes in, is to be able to just round myself out, get myself a little bit bigger, and people just don't understand that.
Yeah.
They really don't.
And I don't think
what
it's
this is
helped
all
them
about.
with like clothes shops. Like, I have a massive issue with clothes sizes. Like, you go into Pennies, you buy a size 10, it feels great. You go into River Island, you look for a 10, won't go near you. It's like a 16.
Yeah.
To get it, like, and I think the impact that has on
serious.
women, especially younger girls, is just, I just think it's detrimental.
Yeah.
Because they'll carry that always.
100%.
And I do think that clothing, like, shops should have to take responsibility in that.
Yeah.
Well, Nikita, say for instance, she ordered from Pretty Little Thing. She ordered like training leggings, and they came and they were a size medium.
Yeah.
And like it says on the medium 10 to 12. And when she got them, she says to me, "Mum, you can just have them. They're not going to go near me." And Nikita would only be a size 10.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But they're even bet on to me.
Yeah.
So there's no way in hell they were a medium. If she'd have bought a small, which is what she would choose usually to buy, absolutely no way would they wouldn't have fit me. Do you know what I mean? And that's awful for a girl that young to be like, "What, the next size I'm going to go up for a large?" Like, she's not large. There's nothing large
So
about
then she's
her.
thinking, "Oh, now I'm a 40."
Exactly,
16 or
exactly, and that is going to have a
Well,
massive effect on
I
them.
think I told you, I had bought a dress a few years ago. It could have been Pretty Little Things. I'll find the picture and we can add it onto the group. But I had bought a dress for myself, and it was a 10 to 12. I think it was a 10 to 12. But when it came, Aaliyah was probably only 6 or 7, and I took a picture in that dress and tagged the company in it because it fit her perfect.
Yeah, that's
you know,
ridiculous.
And like, that was that time where I was starting to struggle with me, you know, really like in my head struggle with me body image and stuff like that. And I was, you know, if you're looking at someone that does suffer from anorexia or bulimia or
binge eating,
that's just, you know, the effect you're
it's a
having.
serious trigger.
It's massive, like. But I hope to go now in August to have skin removal.
Good woman.
But even at that, I don't think I will even be happy because of how my mental health is around my body right now. I'm so paranoid all the time that I'm like, will I ever be happy?
No.
With it, do you know? And then I listen to you, you're out of your skin removal stage.
And I can confirm you will.
You're still.
No,
like,
I'm still like that.
And even though I look at you and I'm like, you look amazing. Every time you come into a room, I think you look amazing. Do you know? But
it's how you see yourself.
Yeah.
But like, I'm a lot happier.
Yeah.
And I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But you have to work on it.
Are you more confident in your gigs?
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Like I said, the first gig back, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And it literally got to the stage where I wore a blazer, and there was a few family and friends, and they were like, "Take it off you," and I was like, "No." And then it got to the stage where it was so busy. Everyone was dancing and it just got so warm and I was literally going to die.
I remember the moment you took it off.
I was like,
and you looked amazing when you took it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of was after losing my inhibitions a little bit, and I suppose the adrenaline of being on stage and that.
And the birthday cake.
But no, like I literally was going to die of heat stroke, so I was like, no, I need to take it off.
Yeah.
So I took it off and I was like, I was kind of just, don't think about it, just get on with it. And I'm working on it.
Yeah.
You do need to work on the mind, and that's the one thing I would say to people if they're in a situation where they're losing weight or they're gaining weight or they're having plastics or whatever.
Your mind is as important.
Your mind is as important. Yeah, like you're not going to lose weight. You're not going to get to your target.
And I personally think, like, for people that are going for weight loss surgery, because it's obviously a massive impact on your body. It's surgery as well.
Yeah.
I do think doctors, like obviously my doctor knew I was going, and because I suffer from anxiety, I'm already linked in with mental health professionals. But if I wasn't, I think it's important for a GP to try and guide you in that direction when you're going for something that's so life changing. Because I think it has to go side and hand in hand.
Yeah. I think GPs and not even like hospitals and stuff, the HSE in general, I think need to be a lot more open with people, because I know with getting anything done in Ireland is so expensive. Like Ireland is one of the most expensive places in Europe to have any sort of surgery. And I know with me personally, and I know a lot of people I know, I researched having skin removal here, and it was just totally out of my range. You know, it wasn't even an option. Like it would have meant that I could save up for probably 2 years to have it, but I'm living with that for another 2 years.
And it's like a deposit on a house.
Exactly.
Like it's mental.
It's crazy money.
Yeah.
So like just to let people know, like for what I wanted to have done, you would have been talking kind of between 12 and 18 grand, depending on depending on what the sort. Now, and I was having my stomach, I was having skin removal, but there's certain kind of, like, say you need like this much or whatever, like, or what clinic you go to or whatever. So I looked at going away to have it done, and I looked at different, like you said, Lithuania, Turkey, all these places, and it didn't even come down to price in the end. Like I ended up getting it for a very reasonable price, but with Lithuania, they were kind of treating it the same, like the way you can have a visitor come. So for my husband to come with me, like there was absolutely no chance in hell I was going on my own. Petrified, especially for something like that. Like I was saying, like, do I need a wheelchair in the airport coming home? Like what way are you going to be? And having had 3 sections, you know, I was kind of saying, like, can I walk or whatever? So Darren was coming with me regardless. So with Lithuania, with that particular place I was looking at, he could come, he'd stay in a hotel, come and visit me for 2 or 3 hours during the day and then leave. Okay. So it meant that I'm left in a foreign country with, you know, I was kind of, oh God, no. Whereas with Turkey, with the place I looked at,
stay in the room.
they could let him stay in the hotel with me. So that was my deciding factor, to be honest. Because I knew I would have that moral support. I would have, like, I know the hospitals could kind of, the nurses would be there for you, but just physically, if there was something I wanted him to do, he could do it for me.
And how did you find Darren through the process, like, of everything? Like, supportive, I'm assuming.
He was amazing. Now, I don't want to say that because he's probably going to watch this.
Hi, Darren.
Hi, Darren.
But I don't want to be throwing bouquets at him, because then well, you have to. Yeah, then it goes to the head. But no, he was amazing. He was so supportive. Like, I think he had watched me, like, we're together nearly 20 years.
So he'd watched you suffer.
He's watched me suffer, and he's been there, and like that, like I said before, he's been there with me changing 400 times before I left the house, and me never not being happy at all, and obviously that impacts our relationship, because where he'd say, like, oh, you look lovely, and he does, he'd compliment me, and I'd be like, oh. And then he's kind of, then, you know, I'm sure he's then saying, like, what's the point of me making an effort with her telling her this when she's just brushing me off anyway, kind of thing. But you know, he was, I have to say, like, I mean, I couldn't have done it without him, in a sense, of course, like, with the money. But no, in a way that he was moral support. You know what I mean? It wasn't.
And it is so important.
It is, and
because I felt kind of, even though I went with 2 people, and one of them was, like, I'm really close to, it's still a lonely time. It's still scary. And do you know what I found afterwards? Because obviously, like, I was single when I went through that, and afterwards, and I had started dating and stuff like that. And what I found weird was, say if I told a girl I'm after having surgery, they'd be like, oh my God, and what happened, and tell me this.
Details.
But with a guy, because, you know, they'd be asking me to go for dinner or to go for drinks, and I couldn't do those things, so I'd have to just tell them.
Yeah.
And you probably remember this,
Yeah.
and I'd be telling them, and they'd be like, alright. Like, they didn't care.
No.
It was like...
Yeah, like you told them you got bread in the shop before you left.
And to me, it's this massive issue. I'm sick that I have to even tell you that I've had weight loss surgery, and they're like, alright.
Yeah.
Like, next... Like, do you know,
yeah.
it's mad, like, how men and women view it all.
Yeah.
And you'd think you're more paranoid about telling a man than a woman. But no, the women are actually more intrigued by it and interested in it.
And they want all the details. And I think, like, even with going for plastics, like, I was kind of saying, I was kind of a bit, how do I say it, like, I wanted to say to Darren, this is what I want to have done.
Yeah.
Because as I was losing weight gradually, he was kind of, I was like, I'm going to need this done, because I knew after 3 sections I needed it done before I lost it. But he was kind of, I don't think so. No, look, as you're losing weight, you might kind of, I'm like, I'm going to need this done.
Yeah.
I was kind of putting it out there.
Yeah.
But I think I was kind of like, is he, because he'd be real, I'm happy with you the way you are.
Yeah.
You don't need to change, you don't need to do any of that. But for me, I did.
Yeah.
And I needed him on board.
Yeah.
For me, I needed him to say, it's okay, I'm here for you.
Perfect.
And I was lucky that he did. Because I know, having spoken to people, they would say, oh no, my parents, there's no way they'd not allow me, but you know what I mean.
But I've spoken now during my own journey to so many women who didn't tell anyone, didn't tell their parents, their family, their partners, that they were going away and having this done. Like, I spoke to women that said they were going on girls' holidays. Yeah,
because there's such a taboo, and that's what I was saying even about the HSE and with hospitals and doctors. A lot of them, because you're saying you're going abroad, there's such a taboo. There's such a taboo, and like, with me, I had it's very common, like, after having a tummy tuck, you can have because I had muscle repair. So after having pregnancies and stuff, your muscles basically separate. So having that tie back, there's a lot of extra fluid and swelling for a long time. And I know there's a thing called seroma. It's like fluid builds up, and sometimes you have to have it drained. So because I was away, when I came home, obviously that would have to be done at home. And I was like, oh no, it mean going to the hospital, it mean telling them what way are you going to be, being judged, and you're afraid of that. And people are literally putting their health at risk because they're like, oh, I don't want to go in there and get in trouble with the hospital. And I actually had spoken to a friend of mine who had the same surgery, who had a seroma, and she's like, no, I went in, they were lovely, they said you had, like, the surgery they done was great. Like, they didn't have any issues.
My experience is, though, it depends on the hospital, it depends on the surgeons that come down to talk to you, or the doctors, because I experienced that. Like,
a lot of them were dismissive with you.
So dismissive. Like, I ended up in hospital a few times with kidney stones, stuff like that, which is a side effect of weight loss surgery. But, like, one of the times I'd gone in, I'm not going to name the hospital, but I think anyone who follows me knows which hospital it is, we thought I had appendicitis, and I was in so much pain. Doctor was amazing, lovely woman, surgeons come down. The minute I said I had gone to Turkey for weight loss surgery, they were like, no, go and see a bariatric surgeon. And I was like, I'm here now, like, I was in agony, so upset. I was actually sitting there the whole day. They were so dismissive. And then after that, I insisted in the ambulances to go to Blanchardstown Hospital, and I'll name them because they were absolutely brilliant, like the times that I was there.
Well, funny enough, the girl I'm talking about went to Blanchardstown, and it was the same thing. She said they were very supportive. She said when she went in, she was judged by the receptionist. And it was because she obviously you have to go into A&E and say why you're there, or what you need to be checked or whatever. And she said it was very much like, oh, the amount of people are having side effects of going away, and like, it's hard enough. And for like that, like we said, for women can be so mean.
Exactly.
But it's hard enough to go in and be like, I'm in pain here, or I've an issue here. Without, like, you don't need that when you're already.
But if you've made a decision like that, whether it's to go for bariatric surgery or skin removal or whatever, out of the country to a country that you don't speak the language in, that you don't know anyone in, that is massive for someone to make that
say
decision.
Goodbye to your partner and your kids and
let's be honest,
your
not
parents, and get on that plane and go, knowing that anything could happen. You have to be in a really bad place
absolutely
about yourself to be able to do that, because these things do go wrong. So it must have been so bloody scary. You know? So the last thing you need when you come back is to be judged.
Exactly. And the gas thing is, if, you know, any of us were to commit suicide, God forbid, because of how bad we felt about our bodies, everybody would be like, oh my God, why didn't they reach out? Why didn't they try to? You know, and that's the sad part about it, is that
it is,
it really is.
People are so judgmental and they want to talk about you and you know, but really they don't mind people.
In my experience, what I've seen anyway, it would be, you know, someone would say, oh look at her, she's lost so much weight, betcha she had surgery. But as I keep saying, that's only the beginning. The surgery is only the beginning. And in Kiera's case, Kiera's being accused of having surgery, or she actually didn't. Do you know what I mean? Which it's not. It's more of an insult to people who have had the surgery, because, like I say, it is so hard to leave your family and get on that plane and put your faith in a foreign doctor that you're not sure about. But realistically, the best place to go is to Turkey or somewhere like that, because it's like a conveyor belt.
They're doing
it all day long.
It's a centre of excellence for anything like that.
And 100%, even for the purposes of this, I highly recommend the hospital I went to, which was the Irma International Hospital in Turkey. I just couldn't fault them. It was better than a private hospital here in Ireland. They were so attentive. There was nurses there constantly. The surgeon came down every day. Like, he hugged me and everything. I was like, this is like bizarre, because we just don't receive that service here in Ireland.
No, and I would say exactly the same thing. And it's mad like that, the taboo of going abroad for surgery or
it's like, oh, you went to Turkey.
It's, oh my God, there's so many horror stories. And it's like, well, actually, I can tell you firsthand like that. I would recommend, like, I've said it before, if I needed my appendix out,
you'd rather go
I would get on a flight and go there. And ironically enough, by the time you'd be left sitting in A&E waiting to be seen by triage, you'd be over there anyway. So I have to say, like, there is a taboo there is, and like, it is kind of, oh my God. I wouldn't. I'm happy with my decision that I went and had my skin removal there. And it was like, initially it was about the money. It was kind of like, I can't afford to have what I want done now, kind of
and
here.
To wait.
Yeah, because I couldn't, mentally I was like facing having to go for probably 2 or 3 years, carrying around excess skin and feeling like, although I had lost weight and I could see it in a sense, I was still 5 stone ago because I felt I was carrying this weight. And that's another thing as well. I would always say to anybody, regardless of how you're planning to lose or gain weight or whatever, always take pictures at the beginning of your journey or of your diet or your surgery or whatever, because it's so important for your mind to look back on those pictures. Because I look sometimes at pictures of me 2 years ago and I don't see a difference now, and I need to look at those pictures side to side for me, for my mind to say, okay, you've come a long way. It's so important, because it's a total mind.
No, it is.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
But the fact of the matter is that if Ireland as a country made it easier for people dealing with obesity as a disease, because that's what it is, and they made it more affordable, people wouldn't have to keep going out of the country.
They wouldn't need to go.
And then it wouldn't have the impact it has on the HSE then when we come back here.
But people also need to get their head out of the sand and stop talking about this like it's a negative thing.
Absolutely.
Like, how many girls have gone away and had their boobs done? How many girls have gone away and had their teeth done? How many people would just stay in Dublin and have their lips and their Botox done? I've done that. I hopefully will get away to have my boobs done. I would love that. Everybody I think that follows me knows a year ago my teeth looked disgraceful. I've had them done, but I will go to Turkey and have them done properly. Do you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with changing something that you don't like about yourself, and it doesn't mean you're vain.
No,
you know, it does not mean you're vain, and it doesn't mean anybody has a right to talk about it.
It usually means that you have an issue with how you look, and you want it. But I do find that, especially on Instagram, people are like, see what she got done. Like, so what?
Like,
if it makes her happy, why do you care? Like, I don't understand that way of thinking.
I think women should build each other up.
And I think we are lucky in the groups that we mix in. Like, we're all very supportive, encouraging women, and like, I think that's important to surround ourselves with people like that, because, and I've learned that.
Well, we're very lucky that we have that little support system around.
Because even I'd have people still in my life that they're not cheerleaders. Like, they don't really like when you do well. They'll watch your stories but not comment on them. That kind of thing in real life.
I think someone would think that you can't see them watching your stories.
And you're like, I just find that bizarre, because the minute I see you do something well, I want to praise you on it, because genuinely I'm happy for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember going to see you a few years ago in the Chalk venue. you were amazing, you were a lot heavier, and like now when I look at you, I'm like, I'm so happy for you, because you look just brilliant, and you deserve that.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why all of us just can't be like that with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there
And
is a
I
lot
have
of
to
that.
say as well, for both of you, like, your weight loss was all during lockdown.
Yeah.
So you didn't have the gym. You didn't have, like, there would have been a lot of hurdles, like you losing weight through Slimming World. Like that, you could only do your Slimming World and walking.
Yeah.
Like, you
can't go to your meetings where you have your support.
Exactly, and the other people as well, your support system, the other girls there who are on the same journey, you didn't have any of that.
No.
So it's very much on your own that you had to do that, and the same with you. You didn't get to get off the plane and come home and go to the gym and start training.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had to.
Now, I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't be going to the gym doing training anyway, let's be honest. I am not a gym kind of girl. No, but yeah, it was hard. And then, like that, I had so many people that knew I'd gone to Turkey, and like people that were, whether they be in my family or close friends, and just like never commented on it. Like, it's like it didn't happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, one of the closest people to me in my entire life never mentions it, ever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm down nearly 6 stone. Don't mention it.
Yeah.
Like, I'd walk in, my dad, I was like, Jesus, you keep losing weight. Like, it's like
He's
your
fan.
He's my biggest fan. But then you've other people that are like, just pretend not happening.
Do you want a cup of tea?
Yeah, like, and I just find that so bizarre.
But I think that says more about those.
Oh yeah,
people.
100%.
Because like you said, you seen me a couple of years ago, I would have been a lot bigger, and you probably didn't even see that.
Yeah.
Whereas I probably...
No, because I remember that night seeing you
and I probably struggled for an hour before I went out on stage, and it didn't even... You didn't stand there going, Jesus, she's very fat.
But I remember saying to you a few weeks ago, like, even me, when I... Like, my birthday, I got up and sang, and before I sang, I turned around to all of them and I went, nobody put this on Instagram. Laura went to put it on Instagram anyway the next day. But I was like, nobody put it, because I think there's that misconception as well, especially when you're gigging, you're up singing, people assume you're confident.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not.
I don't think any of us are.
No.
Not one of us.
We literally only had this conversation on the way here.
Yeah.
Because the perceptions of people, what people assume the way you are. Like Laura said, because when I done a Laura interview, an interview with Laura last year, like, she was like, I could, like, when you said you do it with me, like, I was kind of saying, how am I going to deal with this? And I was like, and she was kind of saying, like, to me, you were this kind of person that she had a total different perception of who I am and what I am.
And we also touched on that with you, like, you get that a lot, oh, you're Christy's daughter, and you were like, I'm Kiera.
Yeah.
Because you're your own person. Yeah. Your dad's amazing, his band's amazing, we all love Christy. We love him.
We love Christy.
Laura really loves him. But you are
Kiera Dignam.
Yeah, you'd get that, you'd face that a lot then. Throughout all your days.
Well, you were Kiera Dignam. You're not Christy's dad, Christy's daughter, just.
Yeah.
But like you said, the perception of people, because I actually asked, I was like, well, what do people think? Like, what was your perception? What is people's perception? Because nobody knows how people see them from the outside. Nobody does, no matter what. Whether you're known or you're not known, or whether you're a plumber. Like, nobody knows. And Laura was like, well, I think maybe people think you're a little bit dismissive or maybe ignorant. And because like that, you get people come to me at gigs and be like, oh my God, you're actually, if I'm talking, you're actually nice.
Yeah.
You're like, what do I give off?
Yeah, it is. It's just people's misconceptions, and I think people let themselves run away with them then. Like, once they have it in their head, they're like, oh no, you know Kiera, she's very stuck up. Yeah. And they probably never had a conversation.
Exactly. And it's like, get to know me before you don't like me.
And I think we've all gone through that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Please give me that.
But like we've also said as well, like, you talking more on your stories on Instagram will give people a better insight into who you are as well, because you are very private.
Yeah, and like that, funny enough, there's a perception, the perfect example. People think because I'm out gigging and I'd be on a stage and I'd come across confident, they'd be like, oh, she's full of herself or whatever. Yeah, I won't, like, it would help me for people to get to know me if I did talk on my stories. But
you struggle with that.
I'm so uncomfortable with that because I don't have the confidence. Like, when I go on stage, I have to be Sasha Fierce. I have to have an alter ego, because otherwise I'd be... And the first couple of songs that I gig, most of the time I will be a little bit, and then I'm like, no, I need to snap out of this. It's hard.
Yeah. And I think for us watching you perform, it's like, oh my God, she's amazing. Like, but it is different when you're the person up there. you know, like that night on my birthday, I felt so much pressure because there was so many people there that knew me because they were there for my birthday, and I was like, I actually remember saying to Claudine, don't put me up first, don't call me up first, and then she called me up first. But anyway, like I was sick nearly. I was like, oh, nobody put this video up, like but people just look at you and they think, oh, she's mad about herself, she loves herself.
Well, on that particular night as well, Chris was there, and Chris had his camera.
Chris like paparazzi.
And Chris goes everywhere with his camera, like, and he was like, just because it was Tracey, he was like, I'm bringing the camera, going to get loads of brilliant pictures. And he took, how many? 50, 60 pictures, and sent them all to Tracey to see what pictures could he use. I think it was 4 out of 60. Yeah.
And I remember saying
and literally, she was like, I look so huge, I look terrible, I hate how I look, I hate my face, I hate my skin, I hate my hair, I hate my teeth. She was like in bits. And I was like, Tracy, just forget about it.
Like literally when those pictures came through, I was riddled with anxiety and I was so overwhelmed. But I saw Chris then and I hugged him and I was like, thanks so much for all the pictures, like I'm going to keep them all. But I just can't.
And they're beautiful pictures. But it's like that, it's like you're still, as you say, your head hasn't caught up with your weight loss. So you still see a big person, do you know what I mean? And like you look amazing, do you know what I mean? But it will take a while for your head to catch up with that. And like you say as well, I think counselling is a very important thing in that. I think everybody should, any type of massive life-changing surgery like that needs to kind of let their head catch up, and if that means seeing a counsellor, then so be it. So
sorry about the dog in the background.
Say my dog?
No, it's probably don't know what's going on. No, it is. It's hard. But look, we will get there, please God.
Yes.
Like a year ago, I'd never be sitting here doing a podcast.
No.
Never. A visual podcast. No way. Like you did a live interview with me. I won't even let you share that to your highlights. I'm like, do not share that.
I'm not allowed to share that anymore.
Like my face is so big in it. I'm like, please don't share that. Like even I remember that night doing that, being sick. Like you had anxiety about doing with Kiera. I was like, why does, because I didn't know Laura. I was like, why does this woman want to interview me? What have I even got to talk about? I'm so heavy, and like I remember that. Yeah. And like here I am.
And you didn't even talk about that you were going for surgery?
No, because I hadn't told anyone at that point. I literally didn't tell anyone kind of until the days I was going.
Yeah, it was a week.
I just didn't want any outside pressure. My GP was very supportive at the time.
Good.
And, like he was like, Tracey, it's a bigger epidemic, like obesity is a bigger epidemic than the effect after effects of surgery or whatever. So like he was 100% supportive, and I remember him saying to me, it's not fair, because I have to go to physio and pain specialist and all, and I remember him saying, it's not fair that they're saying go walk and eat healthier. I like eating healthy. Anyway, that was not my issue. My issue was medication, and I was piling on weight. And he was so supportive with that. Yeah. And then I come back here and some of the...
Were your friends and family as supportive?
Some,
yeah.
Some like that were just, didn't really care or have an opinion. Some were like, no, don't do this. This is so dangerous. Don't do it. And like, I think because I didn't really talk about it, it was a shock for a lot of people. Even though I mentioned it, but when I actually said, no, it's booked, I'm going, I think people were like, what do you mean you're actually doing this? Yeah. But I had got myself into a state of mind that I had made up my mind. I'm ready for this. Yeah. Nobody was going to throw me off. I really didn't care about people's opinions on it. It was going to happen anyway. Yeah. And I went and did it. And
I went through my 20s wanting to have my boobs done because I would be like smaller than an A cup. Yeah. Like really, really, really flat, and it's always bothered me. So all in my 20s I wanted my boobs done. My 30s, early 30s, well, until 2 years ago, I was like, no, do you know what, I'm glad I didn't get it done. Yeah. Because, breast cancer issues and would I find a lump and things like that. And just the last year and a half, I'm like, no, I really want them done. I really want them done. Yeah. And I'm 40 and nobody is going to stop me. Now, I know that I'm going to have to talk Chris into it. Sorry, Chris, but it's going to happen. I will have to talk Chris into it. Yeah, exactly. But it will benefit him because I'll be a happier person. Yeah. Same as, like, hopefully I'll get my teeth done when I'm over there. But if not, they too will be done in time. But I think it is about making yourself happy. Nobody can come along and say, Tracey, you are absolutely gorgeous and, just believe me.
I'm never
and you'll be like, okay,
weight
that's it, I'm
believe
fixed.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Because I'm obviously getting my breast reduction.
Exactly. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I know. And I look at you and I'm like, you're perfect. Why are you altering your body? But
you only see me ever when I've had a bra.
And I'm like, you all only see me with a bra on. Yeah. And I'm like, when this is not on, they're down here.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just about being, like, obviously being safe with it. Like, not
now I'm not talking about huge. I'm talking about a B or a C cup. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't want to either look like mutton dressed as lamb, but I want to be proportionate. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think everybody has their thing, you know, that
they do, and I like that. I don't think there's anything wrong if there's a way. If you have the means and the want to go and do something, regardless of what it is, if it's going to make you happier in life and it's going to make you feel better about yourself.
Yeah. And I will get the same as you are getting on. You see, they're fucking great because they're after having, you know, they're like losing all their weight and everything. But I really don't care. I'm at the stage, and only in the last 2 years am I at the stage that I don't really care what other people think of me. Yeah. I really don't, because I've been through the mill. Everybody knows my story. I have, like, ballsed up so many times, you know. But at this point, I'm like, you know what? I've come out the other side. I'm really happy with myself. I'm proud of myself. So anything that I do want fixed, I will fix.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not for any other person
you know
other
what?
than me.
It's 2022. If we can do this, why don't, like, women years ago would never be in the position that we are in now, where we have a choice of what we're doing with our bodies and stuff like that. So I think, like, the whole message of this podcast, this episode of it, is just be fucking happy and supportive of each other. And
because it's hard enough.
If you can't be, then shut up. Don't talk about it. Like,
don't be talking in
WhatsApp groups. Like, ask the question. If you want to ask someone, ask the source.
And like that, whether that person wants to lie or that person wants to tell you what their truth is or what they want to tell you, it's like it's not other people's business. And like that, I'll say it and it's words, and I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to apply it to myself. But like they say, other people's opinions of you is none of your business.
Exactly. And I'm trying to as well on it. We're all guilty of it as well. I'm not sitting here saying, we're all perfect.
Yeah, everybody does it.
We all do it. But it's about being more mindful of that.
And it's about when you catch yourself
checking yourself.
Try and kind of pull yourself up on it, because like that, I've done it as well.
We all do.
You need to kind of say, God. You realise when it's being done to you, you kind of go, Jesus, I've received a picture.
It's about saying to yourself, if that girl heard me question that, what would she think? Why am I doing that? Do you know?
And in your case as well, with your WhatsApp groups, like insinuating, oh well, she must have had surgery because I seen her like 18 months ago and she was bigger. Like, don't insinuate that. I mean, if they have WhatsApp, they have a phone. Can they not come and ask it? Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing. People, most of the time, nobody will say things to your face.
No, but they really should.
That's the way it is.
Yeah,
and like that,
absolutely.
even if they do, it's a kind of a thing where, like, if you have your opinion now. Where was your opinion 18 months ago when I felt like shit?
I didn't crying.
You were sitting at my gig and you'd clap for me, but you didn't know how I felt. You didn't know that I was cringing because I knew that you had a camera out taking a video of a song that I was singing, and I was going, oh my God, what's that going to look like? And that's all. Like, I'm supposed to be concentrating and enjoying a gig, and all I'm worrying about is the fact that you have a phone over there. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that must have been horrible, actually. It
is. It totally is, and that's one of the things that I've said all along. When I was losing weight and I was kind of with lockdown, and I was like, right, when things are back to normal and I'm back gigging, I refuse to go back on stage and feel that way. Because it was horrific. It was torture. It was mental torture. And now, as I said, I still struggle and I still will be a bit on stage, but I'm getting there.
But because you still can't believe it.
My brain is still kind of it's catching up. But I just didn't want to go back on stage and feel that way. Or in a situation where people aren't on stage, I don't want to walk into Tesco's and feel that way. I don't want to walk down the road. I don't want to walk into the school and feel that way. I didn't want to feel that way.
And it must affect like every aspect of your life. Like,
everything.
I mean, even feeling good now in yourself. That has to help, like, everything.
It does,
how you sing, how you come across on stage, your relationship with your husband. Do you know what I mean?
Because I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable
going out with the kids.
That's the thing, because like my eldest is 18 And up until as today stands, I have never got into a swimsuit and got into a swim pool with him.
Yeah.
And that's sad, because now that I think of it, that's been his whole life.
Yeah, he's missed out.
He's never had that with me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that, girls bitching in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Don't think of that.
No.
And don't realise that that's something that my child has missed out on.
Yeah.
They've missed out on part of their mother.
Yeah.
Because of how I felt about myself.
Yeah.
And then they can sit and bitch about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that like that, be a little bit more mindful of, and don't think, oh, this person is stuck up, or this person got a tummy tuck so they love themselves. This person got something done because they wanted to try and improve their life and their life for their kids.
Yeah. And absolutely, because you didn't love yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And none of us are perfect.
No.
Neither is anybody watching this.
No.
Like, and
everybody
we
has
just have to
that
remember that.
Yeah.
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 So yeah.
We try.
We try.
We try and we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I think we'll wrap up
Yes.
for today.
Yes.
Yeah, people probably fast forward.
Yeah.
When's the good bit?
We'll get there. We'll get there. But thank you all for watching, and I hope we've raised some awareness about the issue of body issues and how we conduct ourselves around that with other people, how we talk and message, and just the impact that it has on people. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the first episode, and thank you very much.
Very good, and we are excited for the next one. So we will have this uploaded as soon as possible for everybody to see. And thanks very much for watching. And I don't know what we're going to talk about on the next one.
No.
But
well, hopefully with
just
this
as fun.
Yeah. Hopefully with this we came across relatable, and you can kind of get to know us a little bit better as individuals, rather than just like on photographs on Instagram or videos on Instagram or whatever. So yeah, hopefully you can come to us, and like we've already put up a box about different things you might want us to talk about and stuff going forward. So yeah, we'll see now what the most popular topic is for the next one, and we'll hit you with that.
Make it good.
Exactly. So from us three girls, thank you very much for watching, because we are the talk of the town, and probably will be again. So
absolutely.
thank you.
Thank
from
you.
all of us. Goodbye.